All right, everybody should be live here. Let me go ahead and move this down. Going to talk about what's going on with the forecast here. We've got two systems we're monitoring. The one coming in Friday looks like it could potentially lead to some issues with high wind and also the potential that we're going to see a heavy rain, of course. But one of the things that's different about the Friday system, well, there's several things different. First and foremost is we're watching the potential for high winds in the afternoon. So this will be during the daylight hours. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here before too many people check out. So let me show you what we're looking at here as far as the model guide. So I'm going to go over this a lot more in depth here coming up in just a second. But we've got this next storm system coming at us. And I'll go ahead and take this full here so you can kind of see what we're looking at. A few differences here. And again, you're looking at the GFS here. And a few differences here is the pressure is not as low as it was with this last storm system. However, I'm going to get more into the other data in a second. I think we're probably looking at a squall line coming in, and it's going to run into this air that's really stable out ahead of it. So let me switch this up here and show you what we're looking at. This is a sounding here, and these winds, let's go back and forth here. Again, that's going to be a different sounding there. So let me just go back in time here. I'm going to go up to the time we're looking at. Let me just grab that. So what we're going to see is some really high wind coming in. So let me zoom in here. This will be the sounding. And the reason it's important to look at the sounding. Oh, you're welcome. I'm able to monitor a little bit of the chat here as I kind of switch from computers. So as we get into Friday, oh, wait a minute, that's not Friday. Let's see here. That's Monday. That's not, okay, let's do Wednesday 12Z. All right, so let's get to the right time frame here. I know some of this is going to be a little confusing, but this is what we're looking at with the model guidance. I'm going to back this up just a little bit. And this, again, what you're looking at is the sounding as the air rises. Notice as we start the day, it's not as present as it was earlier, but there's what we call an inversion. Notice this area near the ground. Again, this is like you're looking at the building, and as you go higher in the air, as if the atmosphere was a building, as you go higher in the air, typically the air gets colder, but we've got what's called an inversion, and what's happening is the air is going to be warmer aloft than it is at the ground. So typically if you get a line of thunderstorms, a well-formed line of storms, they're going to crash into that wall, and that can create what we call a wake low. So I'm more concerned about a wake low with this, and notice how this bends in that direction as we get into, this is going to be around 9 a.m. Friday. Also notice these little arrows here. I know they're probably a little hard to see, but these are the winds as you go up with height, and they're showing around, I would say 4,500 feet. The winds are going to be southwest at 70 knots. So we're going to have some really strong wind here. And even the model sounding has marginal severe weather. So I think there's a higher potential for severe weather with this coming in. But I still think the highest threat's going to be down to our south. So again, this one's going to be a little stronger as far as the storms go. There's still not a lot of instability, so everything's going to be elevated. But as this line comes in, it's likely going to crash into this. There's our laptop. So it's likely going to crash into this more stable air. And when that happens, you tend to get what's called a wake low. So let me go back into the model data here. And here's our storm system coming at us. And it moves through. So very heavy rain. This is going to be roughly 9 a.m. and then noon, 1 o'clock. It's in and out of here during roughly between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. A lot of wind. I think your kids will probably be fine at school kind of thing as they're in the structured buildings with, again, wind gusts 50 and maybe some isolated 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this as it comes in. So then as we get into the weekend, this is going to be Saturday morning here, just cold air coming in. And this is kind of the first round of cold air and more cold air that's on the way. So as we continue on, here comes the next system. Again, this is the latest model guide. This is the GFS. All this area here in blue is snow. So we've got snow, and then down here to the south, we've got this little wintry mix, and this is in southwest Arkansas there. So as we kind of go forward in time here, as this Arctic front comes in, it doesn't look, and I don't think we're going to get a lot of snow with this, but the problem is it's not going to take a lot of snow to cause a lot of problems, especially on the roadways. This is going to be roughly 6 o'clock in the morning Monday. And I'll get in closer here in a second. Notice how it continues to kind of spread out. So this model would be putting us with some decent snowfall here. So again, this is going to be Monday. We'll talk about the temperatures to follow in a second. So let's go local. So we're just going to look specifically at Alabama and Mississippi with this next storm system. Well, here's the Friday storm system. This is about noon. So there's 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m. It moves through quick. So the flooding threat's going to be less, but the wind threat may actually be higher. So here comes the cold air coming in. Those blue lines are thickness lines, and I'm not going to explain that right now. But here comes the chance for snow. And we'll talk about totals here in a second. But this is going to be 3 o'clock in the morning Monday. And there's 6 o'clock in the morning Monday, 9 a.m. Monday. So we're looking at several hours of potential light snow here. And then it moves out. So the temperature profile is going to be critical here. That and the moisture content too. So as far as, let's look at snow. I don't think it's going to be quite a 10-to-1 ratio, but this puts down roughly, I would say 1 to maybe 2.5 inches of snow. And this, again, this will be developing through the morning. I believe Monday is President's Day, maybe. I think my wife was telling me that. So let's talk about the cold air. So this is a situation we may get a quick inch of snow. Let's talk about ice here real quick. Let's see what ice looks like. And there's some ice potential here as well. So 1/10 of an inch of ice. So there could be some thin coating of ice on trees, but typically you don't start running into power outages with the trees until you get about 1/4 of an inch of ice. So I think we're probably okay there. But again, travel could be an issue. I'll talk about temperatures here. And this is going to be a big part of the story as well. So going forward, we're going to warm up nicely the next probably Thursday afternoon. I think we're going to hit the 50s maybe. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, we're going to be in the mid-50s tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow's probably going to be the nicest day of the week. Probably the nicest day we'll see in a long time. And Friday won't be, but Friday's going to be covered with showers and storms. Notice the temperatures in the 60s down there in Tuscaloosa. I'll get down to the severe threat here and coming up, but I do want to cover more of our weather for right now. But the severe threat here is going to be developing Friday late morning afternoon from Tuscaloosa to Meridian and then eventually over to Auburn. Look how warm that gets there. So I think we're going to have a fairly strong threat of severe weather south of Birmingham with that. So we got the cold air coming in behind it. And this will be your weekend morning lows, upper 20s, afternoon highs near 40. So it's not going to be very warm. And that's the other thing that's going to be critical about the storm system coming in Sunday night into Monday morning is the cold air is already going to be here. A lot of times we're chasing the cold air. So this is going to be Sunday morning. We'll wake up upper 20s. And it doesn't warm up a whole lot, but we do get the low 40s, maybe 45 Sunday afternoon. Now here comes the cold air. This is going to be a 1-2 punch here. The first area of cold air is not going to be terribly bad, but it's noticeable. Notice at 3 o'clock in the morning Monday, we are already below freezing. We're in the 20s, so this is why I'm concerned with road problems that will develop very quickly as we go through the day Monday. Potentially. It's a first alert now, but We're probably going to go with the first alert weather day early next week too, after we get Friday's storm system kind of locked up. But all day Monday, we're probably going to stay in the 20s, and by noon, it drops to 21 degrees, 23 in Huntsville, 17 in Tupelo. So very cold air continues. So whatever falls is going to stick, and whatever sticks is going to be around for probably at least 24, maybe 48 hours. So here we go on. This is some really cold. This is pipe bursting weather here, so you need to be preparing your home and make sure you're ready for this kind of cold. And it's the coldest air we've had since last December, most likely. Well, going back to 2022. And it's even coming in with single digits by 9 o'clock Monday night. Florence, 8, 10 in Huntsville. And then perhaps 5. This is midnight, Monday night into Tuesday, 3, 4. Man, this is extreme cold here. This is going to do, if we drop into these single digits, we're going to have a lot of places with issues here. We're going to have, there's going to be a lot of problems. So let me get one other thing here going. Yeah, so if it drops to 3 or 4, there's going to be a lot of pipes burst out there. So make sure you guys are ready for this as it comes in. So as we continue on, let's see, hopefully it doesn't get any colder than that, but it might. So we get down to about 2. It's been a long time since we've been around 2 degrees. I'll tell you, even with the December outbreak of Arctic air in 2023, wait a minute, 2022, because we just had 2023. So this is 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. It's still 19 degrees, 17. So this is going to be extreme cold, and this is going to last a couple of days. So we're going to have a lot of problems here, I think. Let's see if there's any more moisture with this, because that second surge of cold air coming in. All right, let's get in here with this. So here comes the first. This is the Arctic front coming in. Monday morning, temperatures falling into the 20s, staying in the 20s. And we have had, there's 2 real setups that give us issues. One is a Gulf low, and the other is what you see that came through there with the Arctic front and almost like a flash freeze. So as we continue on, I don't really see another area of moisture coming in. So true Arctic air is usually really, really dry. So I don't see anything on top of that, but we of course will have to watch anytime you get the Arctic air already in place. So let's take a look at the European model. And then I'm going to focus more on the threat of severe weather for tomorrow. Friday. So here's European. This is as we get into, this is going to be Friday morning. Notice a well-formed list of storms here. And then it's quickly moving. This is going to be a very fast-moving squall. So let's take a look at the sounding here. With this, I'll go ahead and take this full so you get a better view of that, and take that off. Okay, so what we're looking at here, again, that inversion is there. It's got marginal severe weather, so we'll have to watch that. I imagine future outlooks will put us in that. So here it kind of fades away. So we've got winds here at 75 knots at 850 millibar, roughly 4,500 feet. So we've got a lot of wind coming in, and then it's going to run into stable air and may collapse. So wake low potential is there, and even if not, we're still looking at damaging wind gusts. So that's some really extreme wind coming in. So it was a little drier with the snow coming in early next week. Let's see if we're out far enough to see the latest on it. Here it comes. This is 3 a.m. Monday. It dries us out, and that's a challenge, but then the moisture comes back in here as we get into late Monday, and it kind of creates more of a mess down here near Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. So I'll show you this sounding. Look, there's some drier air, but it's really not that dry. It's pretty saturated all the way up. Let's see what we got here. So it's a pretty saturated atmosphere. It's not, and I think the model's probably too dry with this, at least as far as the reflection here at the surface. I'm not sure if it's got any decent snow for us, but again, it's not going to take a lot. As we see, just an inch and we're going to have problems, or even a half inch. Okay, it's taking a while for it to catch up. Oh, there it is. So this basically has like 1.6 in the shoals, and then if I expanded this view here to Tennessee, you'd see more of a stripe up here. Well, that doesn't help us, but notice Columbia, Cookeville, and then it starts going 4 inches. So I think we're going to have a winter storm somewhere in the Tennessee Valley early next week. So going to have to watch that. Let me change this over here real quick. And I'll look, see if you guys got any questions there. And then we're going to get into the severe weather threat. All right. So let me check. Let's see. Oh, you bet. Yeah, back to work, and it's active. So now let's talk severe weather, the severe weather threat. And let's see what I can get up here. Let's see if that's the right one. Nope. Nope. Oh, that's not it. Okay, so what I want to do here is show you the threat for severe weather. So let's go over here. And this is going to be, this is tomorrow. And I'll expand this out for you. So we've got that threat for severe weather south and west of us with this storm system coming in. And this is, again, this is Thursday, southern Arkansas. And let's see, they got a 5% risk for tornadoes. There's probably going to be a tornado watch in this area. And even a bit of a hail threat here. So that's going to be, again, tomorrow to our west. But what we're wanting to look at, this is going to be the day 3 outlook. See how close it is to us? I think this storm system overall has been trending a little farther north. And I think there's going to be a threat for tornadoes. Again, your students down at Auburn, even Tuscaloosa, up here southeast of Atlanta, all across South Alabama. There's a higher threat of severe weather with this storm system than there was with the last one. And we're in the marginal here too. So we very well could see a few severe thunderstorms with damaging winds. And we're kind of on the edge of the tornado risk too. So it's something we'll have to watch. So let's take a look at the severe threat here. Severe weather. I'm going to switch it. Let's switch to GFS. What I want to look at is Cape. So let me switch to Alabama. So this is going to be the Cape. There's not much there. Man, it's so narrow. So we've got like 600 joules per kilogram. There's just so much more wind with this. 720. So again, it's kind of hard to see a little bit, but this shaded area here is the area. And in the wintertime, with as much wind shears we're going to have, we really don't necessarily need as much. So let's go to the European model. It's pretty much the same. They're both kind of lockstep on this. It has a little bit more instability south, but something to really watch. This is going to show the photographs here. And they're kind of, again, these are pretty wild. So the tornado threat's probably going to be Tuscaloosa to the east, just south of Birmingham with that. Not looking forward to it. Let's take a look at the precip here. The dew points, that's going to be good to look at. So we're looking mainly at dew points near 60, which would lead to severe weather, at least more of that fuel. And you see they're down here to the south. So this is Friday morning at 9 a.m. The timestamps is right here. So let's go forward here. So there's where the severe threat's going to be primarily in blue. But notice how it goes north towards Tuscaloosa. Again, the other key here is this is during the late morning, early afternoon hours. And then it continues to expand up towards Atlanta and over towards Columbus. So again, I'm more concerned about that severe threat from Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, Auburn, and all the way to the coast with this storm system. It's still a couple days away, so it could still pull that moisture farther north into our viewing area. So we're going to have to watch that here in North Alabama. But then look at the dew points crash. This is that Arctic air. That's going to be brutal. All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about here, to give you an update on that. Let's see, you guys got any questions here? Yeah, I think the accumulation, if we do get any mix, it's going to be like a 1 to 2 inch. But the problem is we're going to have issues on roads because the moisture's coming in right with that Arctic air, so we're immediately going to fall into the 20s and keep falling. And I think we're going to have some issues if this trend, we'll call it, continues. So again, keep checking back on that. All right, I'm going to shut her down here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to start doing more and more of these over the coming days as we get into the new year. Again, I'm hopefully going to start building that new garage in the backyard. I'm going to build a whole studio in there here in the next, I may start that in the next 4 weeks. So thanks for tuning in, guys.